Hi, I'm Aiden from Morton Motorsports. Today we're working on this, my 1989 Buick Reatta. As the video would lend one to believe, we're doing a complete tune-up. So far we've done oil and the engine air filter. So we're using these. They're AC Delco Double Platinum 41902. We have 6 of them, obviously. And a set of United Automotive plug wires. That's them. Part number is there. So if you want to replicate what we're doing, that's that. Engine air filter. AC Delco as well. Just one of those. Real simple stuff. So we'll lift the hood. Alright. So we'll start by peeling this cover out of here, which might require that to be out of the way. These Buick 3/8s are common, so the parts that I showed earlier are very, very readily available. This thing's just on rails here, you can see nice and close. It just slips into these little rails here, and it holds the plug wires in place away from the exhaust manifold. Nice and easy. And then once that's out of the way, you can pull it up a little bit. And I think this just opens front ways, if I'm not mistaken. It does indeed. Takes a little bit of persuasion. There we go. Obviously you can leave it on the car, but I like to have things sort of mobile. There's a little bit of fluid on this that I can't really explain, and I'm not totally certain that I want explained to me, so. There's a zip tie on the end of this, which is really charming. Yeah, just watching me fight with this, I'm sure this makes for really entertaining. There we go. Okay. So, we'll start with the first one. And it lens comes to the bottom. So these things have their own little paths. This one sits right in the bottom. So, peel that open. Open the little wire separator. The pack comes with new separators, but I probably won't use them because I don't really want to replace them. Let me just say it like it is. Pull the plug wire off the plug, which takes a little bit of doing because there. So we'll replace them as we go. Really simple. My favorite way to do this is to go up here, find the one that's the same length, which would be this one. Put that there, throw this on the car. Route it the same way that it was before. Actually, I think this kit came with dielectric piece, didn't it? It did as well. It is real simple. You just put a little bit. And it'll obviously right itself where it needs to be. That's it. Literally just a little blorp like that is all it needs. So, route it the same way that it was. Make sure it clicks on, just like that. It's a little bit hard to hear. Even for me, it was a little bit faint. That's that. So now, we'll go over here and guess that it's going to come off kind of like that. Make sure the engine's cold when you do this, otherwise you can strip out the threads. This is going to be a video detailing the reality of owning a front-wheel drive transversely mounted V6 because it is actually a little bit of a pain. So we have that loosened there now, enough to be hand. Just run over there by hand. So, nothing crazy. In fact, those are pretty good. I might even hang on to these. But I wanted Delco ones and I knew they weren't. These are NGKs. Nothing inherently wrong with NGKs. I just don't want them in my car. So these are 41902 AC Delco spark plugs. Double platinums, as is a little bit hard to tell. I don't know if that actually showed up on the camera or not. It's important to not drop these. If you don't have one of these, it's a spark plug gapping tool. This one's just a little ring. You can get ones that have the different sizes. This one's alright. It's like $3 at Canadian Tire, I think. So this car takes 60 thousandths of an inch gap. So we're just going to slide this until it hits 60 thou, which is about there. So we need a little bit more space. We're just going to bend that a tiny bit. We went a little bit far, bend that back just a touch. Oops. And a little bit off now. And that's about perfect, right about there, 60 thousandths. Just a tiny bit over, isn't going to hurt anybody. So we'll start these by hand. I'll put on. Find the hole again. Spin it in by hand, obviously, until you can't spin it in by hand anymore. And switch to our wrench. Now you have to be really careful. I'm using a big ratchet, but I've also done this dozens of times. So just slightly past snug is all it needs. That's it. Grab your wire, which I put up to the side. A little bit of dielectric grease on there. And put that on there until it clicks. Did you hear the click? Give it a gentle tug just to make sure it's actually on there. I find these cables a little bit loose. Doesn't really mean anything, it's just a piece of trivia, I guess. Then you move on to the next one. This one I'm actually going to pull off of here first. Good. And pull it off of here. Get the old ring around the rosy. And then same thing. Come over here, find the one that matches. Might be this one. Yep. Oops. So yeah, same thing. A lot of people replace black with blue. I replace blue with black. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with NGK. I just want this car to have its factory stuff. A little bit of grease in either end. Good. Now I accidentally pulled off both wires from the there, but I just know that that one is the top one. Set this all back here. We're not going to be able to use the extension on this one, which is fine. Slide in here. Actually go in front of the loom. Good. The front three are easy, the back two are a bit of a pain. I think they're easier in this car than they are in some of the other ones because the coolant reservoir isn't here. Coolant reservoir isn't here in this car. So there we are. Pull the socket off just to give myself a little bit more width. Spin, spin, spin. There we go. And again, relatively new. Just the wrong brand. Come over here to our gap tool. We'll slide it on until it's 60 thousandths. This one's again just a little bit tight. This is a good lesson. It's important to check your gap even if your plugs come preset, because this one, see, you can see right now it's just perfect. Just perfect, right at 60 thou. Put our new plug in. Find the hole and spin the plug in before you put the ratchet on. Same thing as last time. Big thing is getting the right angle on these because they sit at slightly odd angles. And just be super conscious of cross-threading. Switch this to on. There we go. Starting to wonder there for a second. So yeah, just a little bit past snug, like I say. That's enough. Throw our wire back on the plug. I kept this one out of the loom just so I can push this off to the side while I'm working on this last plug. Give it a spin, gentle spin. Maybe a slightly less than gentle spin, slightly more than gentle spin, I mean. There we go. And a firm tug. Now this is the longest of this side. So it's probably this one. So yeah, same thing. A little bit of grease in there. Push that on until it clicks and put it off to the side. Now, when you look at these, the first two are facing this way, out towards the driver's side. The last one faces this way, towards the passenger side. Make sure you switch your ratchet to off. There's not a whole lot of room to twist in here, so you're going to have to be careful with your, or not careful, but you're going to have to be sort of diligent with your handwork just to reduce your work when you're up here, because we're only turning that much at a time. That'll be enough to pull off by hand. Same, same, same. This one was gapped just about perfect. So that's nice. Remembering that this one faces a different direction as the other ones, we're going to avoid dropping this one. See if I can get it in here. It's a little bit tricky. There it is. Just give it a little push with my other hand there. I'm gonna try and get my right hand in here. There we go. You are quite limited for space on this car, no doubt. But you'll get there. A little bit of patience. Get it on there, more or less as much as it'll go, or until you get tired. Switch your ratchet to going on. Just a little bit past snug front here, and then throw the plug wire on there until it clicks. I'm just going to pull this out of the way. I knocked it off anyway. Middle one, same thing. on there until it clicks. There we go, until it clicks. Alright. So your long one, let's put this back. The long one goes in, if you want to come behind me and look. Long one goes in at a 90 degree there, comes out along the big long section at the top. The middle one, of course, is the second one down, enters, oops, take this off. This one, the middle one, goes in here, goes along the middle rail, like that. And then this one here, the front one, basically just goes in and comes back out again. Alright, that's simple. We'll throw the other side of this back on to keep them all together. Just like that. Slide this back onto the car, like so. Rearrange your wires because they don't like to cooperate. That's the top one. That's the bottom one. Nice. Alright, so we're on to the back set here now. You'll hear a lot of horror stories about the back plugs, and I said earlier this was going to be an honest depiction of what owning a front-wheel drive V6 is. And you know what? It's not that bad. It's a little bit strenuous. It's really not that bad. If you're a little creative, like instead of, you know, shoving this through big end first all the way across, you know, go this way. Things like that. It's the same as the front. Just take your time. Make sure everything clicks. Make sure you put everything back. Make sure it follows the same route. Same. It's simple, simple, simple. We're gonna hop in. We're on to the middle one. And it's probably the easiest of the back ones. But honestly, if you look down here, you can see everything. Like, you know, your wires go straight down, the plugs are right next to the, so, you know. Some people just aren't used to this sort of thing, I guess. There's not a lot of room to work, and you sort of have to experiment a little bit. Like, for example, I can't use this extension. Not a big deal. So we're just going with that. Ratchet's going off. If I can just get it onto the hex part. And there we are. See what I mean? It's really not that bad. Now, the Reatta is an interesting car in a way because it seems like it was designed to be serviced more than some of the other ones, maybe. In the other cars, the coolant reservoir, and I think I've mentioned this before, the coolant reservoir is right behind the engine, so you end up in a really tight space, and you don't want to break coolant lines or anything, right? So that's a bit of a chore, but even then, just give this a spin here because it's not going on. Yeah, well, you know, you just got to be sort of finagly with your hands a little bit because, you know, you're doing that much at a time. Like, I'm going to pull this out of here and do the rest by hand because the ratchet isn't doing me any favors in this particular instance. There it goes. And there we go. So clearly whoever did this before was consistent. A little bit of oil in the threads on this one, which is a little weird. Not alarming by any stretch, but a little weird. If you're used to modern cars, 60 thousandths is going to be a little bit jarring for you the first couple times, but you get there. It's okay. 60 thou isn't that ridiculous. Not out of line for anything in this era, especially. I'm actually going to lower it down like this. Now, it's easy to lose the spark plug, but it's even easier to lose the hole, so I just got lucky just then, so that worked out pretty well. Just be super conscious of cross-threading, because again, you don't want to do this twice. Try this with the extension, because it was a little bit tight the last time. Give that a spin. There we go. And I don't remember if I should put that on or not. It is going on. And just a hair past snug. We're down and up. Excellent. Good. So this is all set up. I'm just going to throw this on here. Don't forget, just keep an eye on this. You don't want to, well, it doesn't really matter if you mix them up. That actually was on there. Just going to get my other hand in there, make sure. I think that's as far on as that's going to go. Yep, that's good. Okay. Next. you, and now you. Now this one is definitely the most confined space. Ow. Pull this off. Put it aside so it doesn't drop in the engine bay. Pull this out. And just feed it through here. There we go. See? And then you don't have to measure it up. It's the last one. You know what you're doing. Put a little bit of dielectric grease in there. Both sides. I almost forgot. Don't forget about your heat shield. Transfer your heat shields back over. Shove this under and over there somewhere. And then wiggle worm your way back through. Looks a little bit silly, but once we get this in line and underneath the alternator like the rest of them, it'll kind of straighten itself out. There we go. Good, good, good. I'm going to close up this loom. Make sure those are on there good and tight. Put this off to the side. It's good to have a long ratchet when you're doing this. Alright. Alright. Well, this one looks the best, funny enough. Get a little closer and show that off. Look at that, it's just about there. Just about. We're a little bit over now, but that's okay. Alright. There we go. After a bit of fighting, I did get it onto the plug to tighten it up. So, get that done. Nice and, what's the word I use? Just past snug. Pull that out of there. Grab your final plug wire. Try and avoid losing your plug. There we go. That click was a little hard to hear, but it did click. Put that back there in the loom. Check these. Make sure they're all in there. And that's that. So we're on our test drive here now. We're just gonna get on the highway. My big complaint was the idle was really weird, and it seems to have improved a little bit. It's not perfect, but you know, it's not bad. The idle's better than it did, which is, you know, an improvement. And the car isn't broken, so that's yet another achievement. Is extraordinarily comfortable on the highway. I mean, we're doing the speed limit, and we're doing 1500 RPM, so you know, it's very effortless. Doesn't take much to get going.